For more exclusive content from CNBC Crypto Trader, hit the subscribe button now.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.
Coverage of the North American Bitcoin Conference is proudly brought to you by Zap.org. It's 2019 and we're back on the crypto conference circuit, starting off with the biggest conference of the year, the North American Bitcoin Conference here in Miami. Last year there were over 5,000 people at this conference, but this year the mood is decidedly different. Let's go take a look. Immediately upon entering, you see what is less mania, less euphoria, less hype. Instead, familiar faces, big market cap names, and a sober view of what's going on. Let's in fact stop and rewind to last year.
Now there is more of a .com-esque feel.
Here's the same conference, the same hall, 1 year later. Gone are the packed booths where newly minted crypto files couldn't even move. Gone are the hyped ICOs. Gone are the scammers. And gone are the passive buy speculators.
I think that there's a lot of a hype that was clearly taking off last year. Now we're perhaps more of a return to normal would be my hope.
If you're still here, you've endured the second longest bear market in crypto history. Soon to be the longest if we don't get a bounce in the next 20 days or so. We're heading for the longest bear market in crypto history. We are 20 days away.
We got 20 days.
Is this a good thing? Is this drawdown what crypto really needs? It's Crypto Trader's first show back on the road in 2019, and we promise to delve deep into the hard reality facing crypto in the year to come. Yeah, last year there were 5,000 people here. Right. We were in this huge hall. And
generally, that's how manias work.
So we were in the peak of the mania last year.
Yes.
First up, let's talk to Charlie Shrem, opening the conference in a fireside chat with my CNBC colleague, John Nigerian.
A lot of great insights.
Charlie, it's been a long time. We've been trying to get you on the show, and we're finally here at the North America Bitcoin Conference, and we've got you on the show. This is not your first North America Bitcoin Conference.
No, I think this is the conference that's the longest running for us. We've been coming to this conference since at least 2014, so 2013 almost. And there's a funny story that I was actually arrested on my way to this conference in 2014.
So what did they do? I mean,
Mo got on stage and he's like, "We don't know where Charlie is right now."
Well, at least that's out the way. But what's not really out the way is this bear market, and it's not your first bear market. Is this the most serious bear market?
100%. This is the most serious bear market by far, because it's when people invested real money, and we actually had a crazy price run up, and a lot of people were saying that it would never end.
So all the guys that have said that, all the people that have been in Bitcoin for a while and have said they've seen these bear markets before, and we should just hodl and everything's going to be okay. Yeah. Is that the attitude, or could this time actually be different?
That's a very good question. The question that, as I said in my talk earlier, that people were always asking in the previous bubbles were, will Bitcoin exist a year from now? Is this thing dead? No one's asking that question now. It's how long will the bear market last? So I think it's different in the sense of there's enough security in the crypto space where it's going to exist long term. And if you're looking at the price action now, you see it's a lot more accumulation that's happening at a faster pace. That people are accumulating back in at lower levels, and they want to have their long-term crypto assets now.
So one thing's for certain, people aren't asking whether Bitcoin's going to exist, because I think we all know that Bitcoin's going to exist. But what about other networks? What about what about Ethereum and EOS and these supercomputing networks? Are they going to exist?
A lot of them are going to die. A lot of them are already dying right now. I mean, some of them will exist, some of them won't. They're still very much science experiments. And as the leaders of these projects go, even like Ethereum, like Vitalik and Vlad have said, like, you know, Ethereum is not money. Like, don't put real, like, your life savings into Ethereum. They're constantly warning people to not go full vested into these things, because shit happens, and everything comes down to one or two people being able to fix them.
Okay, now let's talk about 2019 and what 2019 may hold for the crypto game. What are you expecting in 2019? What are the highlights?
2019 we'll see a lot of phoenix rising from the ashes. You'll see a lot of the projects that have been being built in 2018 start to have to deliver in 2019. It's a lot of projects that we're not hearing about right now that raised money. They've been under the radar. They've been building, they've been doing things, they've been staying quiet and not wasting press announcements on things because it doesn't really matter right now. It's 2019, these projects have promised to deliver. So we're going to be able to see if we can actually have decentralized internet, decentralized storage, decentralize all these different things. These projects are going to have to deliver. And it could either be a fantastic year because these are amazing things, or they could completely flop and it'll be a crappy year.
You work quite closely with a lot of these projects and you're a veteran in the space. You've been here for a while. Do you think, or do you have any projects that you believe are going to succeed? Are there ones that we should keep looking out for?
Yeah, a lot of the privacy coins are going to do very well. A lot of the tokens and projects that are going to be providing real utility. I don't like to name specific ones, only because you don't know like how the world is going right now in terms of naming projects. But yeah, a lot of those projects are going to do really well.
Now, Charlie, you've been in Bitcoin for a long time. On your badge, it actually says Bitcoin Pioneer, which
I don't know who wrote that.
I think it's quite apt though. Are you still as excited about this industry today in 2019 as you were back then when you were one of the only people in this industry?
That's a very, very good question. And I struggle with that question because a lot of my friends who have been involved in their days even earlier than me have lost the love. They would tell me I lost the love for it, and they're not involved anymore. And I struggle with this, is the crypto today is not the same crypto as it was back then. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with where we are now and how things have progressed. But there's a little bit inside of me that misses those early days.
You know, when you guys got into crypto, you guys were getting into a decentralized...
There was no money.
Today, when you look at this industry and you look around you here, it's not the same industry. You're talking about a lot of... The majority of this industry is made up of centralized company-issued tokens. And I think we've lost our way a bit. I mean, you're saying you're not as excited?
Definitely not as excited in where we are today versus where we were then. I think that we've definitely strayed, but we've strayed before. It's not the first time, and crypto has always gotten back on its path. So I don't have any doubt that we're going to get back on the path now, but it goes through cycles. We learn from them. It'll be back. Am I leaving? No.
Are you all in?
I'm still all in crypto.
All in on crypto.
This is my future, it's my legacy. I don't have an adult life without crypto. I got involved in the space when I was still in college, so I have nothing else.
That's Charlie Shrem, and he's all in on crypto.
We're nearing the finish line, where this...
Also all in is Brock Pierce, current chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation, and who, in the midst of the recent Cryptopia hack, is working on a project to unite the creditors of the infamous Mt. Gox hack.
Brock, good to see you again, and I think before we start talking about what the menial stuff, let's talk about the important stuff. Congratulations. You're expecting another daughter.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
So,
and you're expecting one too.
I'm expecting a son in June. That's good.
Hey,
That's
well,
right.
hey, you know, you're having a boy, we're having a girl, you know, they're gonna have to hang out.
They're gonna have to hang out indeed. Brock, it's so good to see you, and you stood up on stage here today and you spoke about something that was kind of unexpected. You spoke about Mt. Gox so many years later.
What's Mt. Gox?
Yeah, exactly. And I think pretty apt, given that this week we had another exchange hack, we had Cryptopia hacked, more money gone, more reputational damage to the industry. Why is this Mt. Gox initiative that you're involved in so important?
Well, I've been in the space for a long time, and for those that haven't been following it closely, you know, Mt. Gox was the first major exchange. You know, it was where everybody that wanted to buy or sell Bitcoin in the early days essentially went to. And Mt. Gox failing became this massive reputational problem on the industry. I mean, it's a story as big as Enron, you know, a story as big as Madoff. And it caused many people to question the viability of Bitcoin because they said, oh, Mt. Gox, because it was synonymous with Bitcoin. Mt. Gox got hacked, Bitcoin must not be safe. And as you stated, this is a problem that has not just happened with Mt. Gox, it's happened with a number of exchanges and even continues to happen to this day. That's something that needs to stop. We do need to create sort of best practices. How do we handle the custodial or the custody of crypto? And there are ways to solve it, and hopefully this year, people start to implement solutions that prevent these types of problems from happening again.
Well, let's talk about this year, because we went from the hype of 2018, and now we're in 2019. We've got this bear market that's looming around us. What can we expect in 2019? What are you looking to see from this industry in 2019?
Well, you know, I guess the the term of last year was hodl. This year it's buildle.
Hodl was a bad strategy last year. If you hodled last year, you're not in a great situation.
But that was the,
Ask me, I know.
2017 was, when Lambo went moon, oh God, right? Last year is hodl. This year it's about buildle. In bear markets, this is the time where great things get built. Because in bull markets, you can't retain people. Everyone is like, oh, I just did this deal, and they're already thinking about, oh, what am I going to do next? Versus actually following through and getting the work done.
So this is the year when people are going to build
great things.
The infrastructure that we all need. What can we expect? Can we expect a fast Ethereum? Can we expect a big ecosystem around EOS? Can we expect institutional grade solutions actually to come online, backed, Fidelity, etc.? Is this that year?
I think we're going to see a bunch of wonderful things. I mean, if Ethereum doesn't solve scaling this year, Ethereum's going to have major long-term problems. Now's the time.
Do you think they're going to solve scaling?
I hope so. I'm chain agnostic. I support all the chains. I support all the initiatives as long as the intentions of the projects and the intention of the people are good.
So Ethereum must solve their scaling issues.
They have to. I don't think the market's going to wait with all of these other, call it Generation 3 blockchains coming into the market. And Ethereum is still the leading platform in the world for smart contracts and has more developers building on it than anybody else.
What about EOS?
EOS obviously is a Generation 3 blockchain for having only been around 6 months, it's the number 2 chain in the world in terms of developers.
They have a big war chest.
Rising rapidly. They've got the biggest war chest of anyone in the space, meaning they're not going anywhere. They've got a lot of runway, and they've got probably the most advanced chain today in terms of scalability. They've solved what I think of as the Netscape, sort of moment. That is, it's got to be scalable. EOS is very scalable, though they do have some RAM and CPU issues that need to be resolved. I don't know if this is public yet, so please forgive me if I said something I'm not supposed to, but DApp token, Bankcore and Liquid EOS have a scaling solution for EOS for the mainnet, a DApp layer that is going to solve all the RAM and CPU issues, I believe in February, which is why I hope
public, but it's public now.
I please forgive me. I didn't know I was going to go down this path, and I think I'm okay for saying this. And if not, again, please forgive me.
What about other chains this year?
Clearly, you've got the Cardanos, Tron. Tron has done. They're the third most popular chain with developers, which is the most important metric when assessing what's going on with blockchains. Technology is open source, meaning technology does not differentiate you or give you any real advantage other than a first mover advantage.
Community does.
Community is everything. They're the number 3 chain today, in that regard. But clearly you've got Cardano, Charles Hodgkinson is a smart guy that's been around for a long time, and many others. You've got Hashgraph. I think EOS was the Netscape of the ecosystem, solving scaling, latency, and barriers, call it friction. But there are many other Generation 3 chains coming to existence. Netscape doesn't exist today. Even Internet Explorer, which was then the big one that crushed Netscape, barely exists at all today. Now it's Safari, now it's Chrome, Firefox, Brave, to give a shout out to people in our space. So, lots can happen.
Many exciting things happening in the space.
Yeah.
But the price is at an all-time low. It seems to me that
all-time low?
Well,
you mean recent low?
All-time biggest drop. We're heading for the longest bear market in crypto history. We are 30 days away. We're 30 days away.
We got 20 days.
How is this one different? How is this bear market different from other bear markets? You've been around for all the bear markets. I was around 2014 and 15. It feels different.
Well, we have more amazing entrepreneurs than we've ever had. We have more, call it, incumbent industry, institution, and government understanding, acceptance, and adoption. You've got capital in the markets like we've never had. We've got more liquidity in the market than we've ever had. We have more usage and users than we've ever had. The price goes up, the price goes down. Again, barometer of sentiment. Adoption and fundamentals are completely up and to the right and only, becoming more vertical. So if you look at the fundamentals, the industry is better than it's ever been. We've had our Apple iStore moment. And now we're going to start to see real applications built on scalable blockchains. I rarely make predictions. I feel very strongly about the fact that we're going to see apps that hit 1 million users this year.
This year, 2019?
Yes.
And you're willing to take that bet with Jimmy Song?
Yes.
Rockfest, always good to have you on Crypto Trader. Thank you very
and
much.
Gox, of course. Check out Gox Rising.
Yeah, Gox Rising. If you have any claims against Mt. Gox, you got to file them before Valentine's Day, before the 14th of February. That's Gox Rising.
So, can we really get 1 million new DApp users this year? I guess we'll have to wait and see. More pressing though, is can exchanges really protect themselves against such torrid attacks like Mt. Gox and even Cryptopia? Let's ask one of the expert hack-proof engineers, Hxro, from a company called Hxro.
Last week saw another exchange hack. This time it was Cryptopia, bringing the total number of hacked funds in this industry to over $1.5 billion. And surely that's got to be one of the big barriers to entry for mass adoption and institutional investment in this space. Hxro, is that true? Is hacking and stealing of funds one of the big barriers to entry for real money into this industry?
Yes, and educating people on how to hold their own private keys. That's another barrier. It's hard right now for people to learn how to hold their own private keys. And exchanges themselves need to learn to value security. More and more people are opening up exchanges, but they're not getting regular penetration testing from cybersecurity companies.
But let's take a step back. How bad is this hacking problem? I know that $1.5 billion has been hacked from exchanges. Give me some more numbers, give me some more stats.
$2.5 million on average is stolen from an exchange daily.
Daily?
Daily.
How?
Hackers have low-hanging fruit to penetrate exchanges. It's extremely easy for them to penetrate an exchange. For example, we had an example in the back where an employee of a Bitcoin exchange was a competitive dog walker. The hacker monitored the social feeds of this employee and gained access to realizing that, okay, let's email her the fake website and application for this employee to apply to be have her dog compete in a local dog walking competition. So she opened up the wrong email, opened up the wrong PDF, and ended up applying to a fake dog walking competition. The hacker gained access to her keystrokes, gained access to all her usernames and passwords to this crypto exchange's system, and the exchange lost millions of dollars within 48 hours.
So is this an ongoing problem? I mean, are we only hearing about the big hacks? But are you saying that every day $2.5 million gets stolen in exchanges?
Every single day this is happening from exchanges, and they're not reporting it. They're not being public about what is actually happening. And exchanges themselves need to do a better job of communicating with each other when we know crypto has been stolen. Bitcoin is trackable. Chain Analysis is a company that is tracking Bitcoin, and they're doing it for governments. So we can track Bitcoin, and we can color the coins, and we can follow where it's going from one exchange to the next. And we have to be mindful that certain exchanges are not doing KYC and AML under 3 BTC.
Cryptopia, do you think that they had smart contract hacking and people trying to hack their smart contracts to make sure they're safe?
I think that Cryptopia didn't regularly get a penetration test, and that they had some low-hanging fruit for hackers to get. There's so much incentive right now for hackers to go after cryptocurrency exchanges. And for example, recently, British Airways, when British Airways got hacked, the hackers put a JavaScript code in the website in order for credit card information to simply be sent to malicious websites. So they actually stole the CVC and the bank and the actual number of a credit card from British Airways website.
So it shows that it's not really a crypto thing. I mean, it happens everywhere, but...
It happens everywhere. Equifax, British Airways, Marriott.
But the stakes are higher in crypto because there they're stealing your data, but here they're actually stealing your money.
Actual money is at stake, and if a smart contract gets penetrated, somebody lost money.
I mean, if I come to you and I say to you, look, I'm an exchange, help me, what do you do?
So if you're an exchange, we'll have a team of white hat hackers penetrate your exchange. So we'll actually go after it leveraging a mix of automated tooling and manual tooling. And then on the exchange, any token that you're going to list, that token has a smart contract backing it. That smart contract needs to be reviewed. Someone has to do static analysis, gas analysis if it's an Ethereum. Someone has to review the code to make sure that there's no logic errors. Is the code doing what it's supposed to do? And you need someone that has a unique skill set. On this earth, we have very few human beings that are full stack engineers, have a QA mindset for actually auditing code, and also know solidity. And exchanges need to check to see if they have an audit report from a third-party professional. So that's what we're doing as a company. We're giving you a sophisticated audit report when we audit the code, and we'll flag centralized functions. We'll track critical vulnerabilities like infinite token generation.
And if they don't do this, then they're taking the chance of being hacked, and if they get hacked, they're gonna lose money. And up until now, $1.5 billion has been taken from exchanges, costing people like you and I a lot of money.
$1.5 billion is indeed a lot of money. But let's talk about the overall market cap. We're at about 20% of the all-time high. Again, is this a good thing? Are we in for steeper declines? Enter CoinDesk's editor-in-chief, Pete Rizzo, and he's got quite a sobering view.
So Pete, this is not your first North American Bitcoin conference. You've been here before.
I have, multi-year veteran. Can't tell you which years though.
Now, when you come here this year, in the bear market or in the midst of the bear market, how is this one different from the other ones?
So I'll preface a couple things. So one, I've never made any serious money on cryptocurrencies. I'm not a great investor. I have been in the space for a long time, so I do bring a breadth of knowledge, I guess, about the space. So, it's settling in. I feel people are starting to understand where the market is right now in relation to last year.
Yeah, last year there were 5,000 people here. Right. We were in this huge hall.
Generally, that's how manias work.
So we were in the peak of the mania last year.
Yes.
So are we in the crypto winter? A lot of our guests are saying we're actually starting to come out of the crypto winter and we're getting more into this crypto spring and,
Yeah, so I think that's wishful thinking. My personal opinion, and again, take this for whatever you think it's worth, I've been calling it the first frost of crypto winter. I think this is the time where you first come out.
The first frost of crypto winter?
Yeah.
You're saying we're not even in the winter?
I would answer that question by asking another question, which is, where are the fundamentals in this market? And look, that's okay. Cryptocurrencies are new, experimental technology. We don't really understand them. You hear people on stage talking about this is a science experiment. These are all true things. And I think, people who are being really rational and practical and they're looking at the market, you have to say this is a market where we really don't understand the fundamentals. We don't understand what makes a blockchain more valuable than another blockchain. Until you can make some sort of sophisticated investment decision, I don't know how you can say that there's going to be enthusiasm or new people buying back into the market.
So you're saying short term, you still think there's a lot of pain to come, but long term you're very bullish on crypto?
Yeah, I really see a couple things. So cryptocurrencies as an investment is a mainstreaming activity. I remember in 2013 that was very new. 2015 nobody wanted to talk to you. If you were investing in crypto, you were a pariah. That is now a mainstreaming thing, and that will stay. That will become slowly more culturally mainstream. I think the ICO token market, so cryptocurrencies as a means to run a company or a network that provides a service, and a way to distribute a good or service to a group of people, that's really what it is. That is a very new thing, and that new idea raised a ton of capital, and those two things caused the market to get out of proportion. I think they're separate, though. What we saw with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as an investment, I think in 2013, 2014, is that there's a long shakeup from that. We don't, you can raise money in ICOs, but can you manage your treasury? Can you run the company? These are things that have to pan out. I think we're a long time away from that being.
So when does the crypto market decouple?
Crypto winter implies that we're still optimistic about a summer. And I remember the last crypto winter, nobody went around talking about, oh, this is a great crypto winter. They didn't do that because no one had confidence that the market would return. That's a winter. A winter is defined by, I don't know if it's going to become warm again.
Pete, it's been a great pleasure having you on Crypto Trader. Getting a more balanced view of the market.
Institutions, order books, regulations, the ETF, all tough topics confronting crypto.
So those were some of our headliners, but let's cross over to our correspondent Adrian Bashuk to get a sense of the sentiment here on the floor.
Thanks, Ron. As you said, last year, nearly 5,000 attendees. This year, we're looking at 1,500. We're going to take a look around. Immediately, you see the size and scope is just a bit different. The exhibitor hall is essentially the whole conference. Last year, we had the second floor and the theater of 5,000 people. Here, the speaker hall is here in the first floor. We'll take a look. It's more intimate. There's more collaboration. It's people at round tables. And then we can take a look at the exhibitor hall. Last year, it was packed. I mean, you couldn't talk to people and get around. And here we see some familiar names. We got Salt Lending, Decred on the right, T0, Bread, Wallet, Smart Tract. And here you got Jeremy Gardner's Awesome Ventures. Also started a Crypto Castle out of Miami. We'll be checking that out. Then how do you compare this year's conference to last?
Well, I see a lot less people from last year, but I'm experiencing that there's more quality people here.
Quality over quantity.
That's right.
One thing I've noticed this year, I mean, we were here last year, but most of the projects that were here are no longer here this year, They ran out of funding. They're no longer able to afford probably to come to conferences.
This year we're not exhibiting.
Why?
Well, the market is not where it used to be.
This year it just feels like everyone's sort of calmed down. The euphoria is over, but we're back to business, back to the basics, back to fundamentals.
Whereas before it was a lot of white paper and moving a lot of, say, tokens. Now we've actually got security tokens, and it seems like everybody's a little bit more mature, and the big boys have kind of shown up to the table.
So that was kind of the ICO show last year. So I think it's good to kind of tone it down, run into the old people, get the shit back to business. So look, it's needed, it's fun.
You're an inspiring example. I mean, here we had a young buck, a college student last year, here just getting interested in the space, and he stuck around. So keep it up, buddy.
Thank you.
Last year you couldn't even get a ticket, huh?
I couldn't get a ticket last year. Yeah, that's right. I mean, they were sold out. You're going to now have a washout of companies that are either not serious, don't really have a real business.
And so what we're seeing now is an evolution and a maturation of the economy and of the market itself, going to actual securities laws, following the traditional safe route for investors.
Like a post-war rebuilding type vibe, right? Where it's like, all right, we got to rebuild from the ashes. And if you look at U.S. history, it's during those post-war eras actually where the most economic growth came.
Last year, it was full of a lot of what we call blockchain tourists. There are people who are coming in, seeing what kind of opportunities they might be able to skim off the top and then leave.
And you're a resident.
I'm a resident, man. I'm here to stay. I've been in this industry for a few years now. I see myself in it for the long haul. Everyone who has been here has been of extremely high value and high intellect and high creativity. And these are the minds and the drives we need to push the entire industry forward.
Christian, buddy, come sit over here. Now, the advertising offers have been flooding in. Look at the pile of offers I've got here for you. Look, let's just take a pic. Picture this. You're hiking through the Rocky Mountains, okay? And you're carrying gorgeous rosewood designer door on your back. And you look into the camera, and then you say, oh. No, yeah, you're right. It's terrible idea. For the next one, you'll be carrying a refrigerator on your back, environmentally friendly refrigerator, and then your line is, well, actually, it's just one word. We'll put that one on ice, okay? Yeah. This is a hot dog chain. You're carrying this huge hot dog on your back.
Enough! I've had it. No more carrying, no more saying that word ever again. I'm a serious actor. I have depth. Why can't you get me something with like an office with a tie, for example?
Action! Bitcoin is crashing. We have to sell
Bitcoin is a bubble! Hodl. 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 I have to find a new agent.
Also this week, a number of headlines hit, including T0's launch coming ASAP. The security tokens platform may just be quite a catalyst for crypto. Swarm announced their own move in the security token space, enabling tokens to list on their platform for free. Planet Digital announced a big launch, a gaming initiative founded by the likes of partners from Rockstar Games, PS4 and Halo. Another possible crypto catalyst in the gaming arena. And the OG Nick Spanos announced his expansion into Miami, helping open a non-profit Miami Bitcoin Center through his zap.org. Full disclosure, they were part sponsors of our episode.
With me just off the stage, I've got the big man, Nick Spanos himself. Nick, welcome back to Crypto Trader. It's such an honor to have you back here.
Thank you, thank you.
Nick, we've been battered by this bear market for the last 12 months. Is it about to end?
The bear markets? Yeah. Well, you know, the Bitcoin bear markets always end, and Bitcoin goes back up because, you know, unlike on Wall Street where people have centralized databases or centralized ways to make even more shares of their company when their price goes up, they make more shares. We can't do that in Bitcoin, you know. There's only going to be 21 million right now. There's about 18 million Bitcoin. By the year 2140, there's going to be 21 million, and we can't produce more of them. So every time it goes down, then it skyrockets up. So I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but that's what we believe.
You believe it?
And it's gone. I've seen it happen. I don't know.
But is there more blood to come?
Nine times already. I seen it go from $30 to 50 cents.
But is there more blood to come before we go up, or is this it? Have we seen the bottom? It was $3,000 the bottom.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. There are more forces at work now. Like people that do this kind of stuff on Wall Street. So they're trying to impose their ways on us with futures by not actually buying the underlying, But we can take custody of the underlying. They couldn't. No one could take custody before, but we can. So as people get more smarter and more educated in the field, they're going to know that they can take custody, and if they take custody, they can have all the forks. So every time there's a fork of Bitcoin, you get all this free money. Yeah. So if you're in some kind of fund or whatever, you're not going to get the fork. The fund is going to take the money from the fork. If you're in the future, they don't even have an underlying. So I don't even know what the heck you guys are doing. You're like in the Stone Age. You're a bunch of dinosaurs eating the brown leaves.
Now, Nick, you keep talking about Bitcoin. Does that mean that you're not a fan of all the other altcoins? I mean, all these...
Listen, again, it has to be a good project. The right people have to be behind it and make sure they don't disappear, I mean, just like anything, you got to do a lot of homework.
Okay, and we're in Miami, sunny Miami, even in the crypto winter. And in the winter, it's still sunny in Miami. And you're bringing a big initiative to Miami. What are you bringing to Miami?
We're opening up a Bitcoin center here. We have spaces for companies to have their offices and stuff. And I'm probably going to incubate a bunch of stuff and co-working and we already have a pretty big group down here, so we figure we'll wrap a building around them.
Okay. Nick, it's such a pleasure having you on Crypto Trader.
Pleasure's always mine, every time.
See you later, man.
While it may be crypto winter, winter in Miami brings out the best in the city. And this week there were no shortage of events. It kicked off on South Beach with a crypto cocktail, replete with transportation advertising Bitcoin across the city. Casper Labs held a debut on the heels of Vlad's controversial announcement that he would be assisting but not leaving the Ethereum Foundation to assist and become the head of research in this protocol layer. Then the conference kicked off with a party that the founder Mo is famous for, held at the Clevelander Hotel on Ocean Drive.
And now let's get a word from our guest contributor, Dr. Mo Levin, who's also the organizer of the North American Bitcoin Conference. And he's going to be talking about where new money is coming from in this space.
Thanks, Brad. My name is Mo Levin. I'm a contributor for CNBC Crypto Trader. Welcoming you from the North American Bitcoin Conference, joined by James Putra from TradeStation and Stephen Schaefer from MGTI Investment. The conversation we want to have today is about institutional money coming into crypto. And we've been promised this over the last couple of years that the bulls are coming, institutional investments are coming. From a retail side, your experience at TradeStation, your experience, what is going to be the catalyst that's going to bring people over?
So it's pretty interesting to talk about we represent an institution, but as an institution, we are an aggregate of multiple retail customers. And if you look at the three main brokers that are coming in 2019 between TradeStation Crypto, Fidelity, and Ameritrade, we represent about $2.2 trillion in customer assets. I'm not saying that all is going to touch crypto, but that all will have access to crypto in some fashion.
How soon will that happen? Are you seeing a lot of customers request services in crypto or access to the asset class in general?
So we are definitely hearing a lot of demand for crypto assets. What we're hearing is that they're looking for someone that they can park cash with, that they can trust.
As a big brokerage, some of the things you're dealing with is obviously custody and regulation. If you can talk a bit about this, David.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think up to now, most of the large money that's come into crypto has been family offices, because essentially they're their own fiduciaries, it's their own capital. But ultimately, I think for mutual funds and eventually pension funds to manage large pools of capital into the space, we need better custody solutions so that those money managers and those pension fund managers can sleep at night knowing that the assets are in a safe custody, they're fungible, they're able to move them, transfer them, sell them, whatever they might want to do. And furthermore, I think that also depends on the data validation improving, because at this point we have such a bifurcation amongst the markets, and the pricing and the price discovery that's out there is so fragmented. I think that also is something that needs to come to a closer a closer central point whereby price discovery is absolutely more identifiable. And at that point, I think the pension funds and the real 800-pound gorillas on Wall Street with the big money, that's when it can come in.
The challenge that we're facing is for a pension fund, you cannot just go to a Gemini, Coinbase, or Kraken and park your money because they try to do everything. They're trying to be custodian, they're trying to be brokerage, they're trying to be liquidity and clearing. And they're required to have certain aspects of those business in different areas. So that type of separation of responsibilities is going to have to happen in order for you to bring bigger pension funds, those 800-pound gorillas.
I do think the pension funds will be first, though. I think the mutual funds, as James was saying, the first one will bring the wave, but the pension funds I know are already out there in the space. I know some of the larger crypto fund managers that already have some small investment, and I mean real small.
Exposure to the asset class in general, coming up with a diversified portfolio of cryptocurrencies.
A diversified portfolio of cryptocurrencies, and or it might be a specific currency such as Bitcoin, whether an ETF or indices start to develop.
Do you see pension funds taking positions in placements and rounds in crypto companies?
Pension funds, no. I think those funds will be feeder funds that'll invest into smaller funds that have experience and the knowledge base and the management to make a proper analysis of those individual investments, and then they'll feed the money through.
I think that's very fair. So it's more of a private placement to gain access to that market, which is probably like a larger fund gaining access through either your publicly listed company or some private placement with your firm, where you guys are the experts in that space.
However, I think that the real growth and I think the real explosion of or influx of capital is coming domestic. I think it's going to be U.S. markets, and I think it's coming, sometime towards the end of 2019. And there's going to be one heck of an influx of capital for a couple of years.
I would agree 100%.
Let's try quantifying some of these numbers. What do you think is the addressable market size and the participation amount that we'll see domestically?
Sure. I think what you can look at as a guideline is a total U.S. participation in the equity markets. If you look, it's roughly 54% of all the people in the U.S. engage in some fashion with the U.S. equity markets, whether that be through their retirement accounts, their brokerage accounts, mutual funds, ETFs. So that is probably the top end of the crypto market of investors. Now, the people that actually do discretionary investing is a much smaller segment of that. So I would say that top end is probably 54. You're probably looking somewhere between 25 and 30% of the people that will actually actively engage in some form through some type of listed markets.
Well, here's hoping we get smart regulation.
Well, hopefully. If you look at Japan as maybe a guidance, they banded together as an exchange business and created their own set of regulatory framework for themselves.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Stephen and James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's some news on the funds front. Making some big waves in the trading meets gaming arena is a new crypto game that is so addictive. Rob Levy is here from Hxro.
So we're talking about the new game that's got everyone that's played it addicted. It's really addictive. I've been playing it for a few minutes and I can't stop watching it. What is Moonwrecked?
Well, so Moonwrecked is basically, it's a social game that lets the players bet on whether the next 5-minute candle in the Bitcoin USD cross is going to be green or red. Is it going to be up or down? And the payout function is parimutuel, so it's peer versus peer. Payouts are such that, if people are leaning one way because Bitcoin's going higher and they think it's going higher, well, you have to be cognizant of the fact that that side might be overloaded with tokens that are bet, so the payout might be much less than the other side.
Now, is there a science to this, or is this just really betting on green and red? I mean,
well, I definitely think this is a skilled game, and we can show that by the private beta participants. There are some people who have, like, the cream has risen to the top, and one guy has 50x'd his starting allotment of play credits.
50x?
50x. It's actually higher. He's turned 2,000 Hxro play credits into 135,000.
And how much is one Hxro play credit?
One Hxro play credit is going to be about 5 cents.
Rob, what's your background? How did you develop this? Are you a computer game guy?
I do play some games. I'm a trader. I was a market maker on the floor of the CBOE and the Chicago Board of Trade for almost 15 years. So I was a pit trader. I was a market maker, and this was my life, was staring at price feeds, interacting with brokers, interacting with guys in the pit, and we wanted to bring that energy of the trading pit into the digital form. That social combination with trading, it's magical.
Awesome. Okay, so we got 1 minute 50 seconds left. Is the next candle going to be a green one or a red one?
Well, I don't know. Right now, the crowd is leaning on red. They were obviously bearish before this one started, but we're on Moon here, on the green. So we have 350 Hxro tokens on Moon, and our payout multiplier is 3.426x.
And what you're saying here is that 3,936 tokens are now being bet on Moon, whereas 9,966 tokens are being bet on Rect.
Correct.
So the majority of the people here think that the next candle, the next 5-minute candle, is going to be Rect.
Correct. And that was, so this one ends in 57 seconds, but you can see the previous 2 candles were red. So
now what happens if the next candle is green? What happens?
If the next candle is green, the people who are on Moon are getting a 3.426x payout on their entry. So if they entered with 100, they're going to get 342.6 back.
And with 27 seconds left, the ratio here is still about 3-to-1 that the next candle is going to be red.
And you can see in our chat room here, the players are going crazy because they know it's a big multiplier. So we had 70 new messages just in the last minute.
With 10 seconds to go, where would you put your money?
I'm going to try to go with Moon again and catch another multiplier. I'm thinking that there's a chance.
3, 2, 1.
So now it's confirming. It'll get all the data in from that settlement price, and this is very close. Oh, very, very close. It was fluctuating right around the locked price, confirming, and this is now everyone's sweating. Up, complete, we won. It finished 4 cents above the strike.
So you won 3 times your money?
Correct.
And now we're looking at the next candle.
Now we're looking at the next candle here, and now it's going to show how many are on each side. So everybody flipped. So everybody saw, they were betting that this one was going to be a 3rd red candle in a row, but they flipped, and now the crowd went to Moon. So 10,000 are on Moon here, and 2,850 are on Rect. So now the Rect side is looking at a 4.407x payout.
If our viewers want to play this game, where can they go?
Go to Hxro, so it's pronounced Hxro, but we bring the X, we bring the X payout, we bring the X factor to crypto. So it's hxro.io, and you can sign up. Right now there's a wait list of approximately 12,000 email addresses. So we're working out the kinks in this private beta, and our private beta participants are they're pounding on it.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to carry on playing.
All right, sounds good.
So from the North American Bitcoin Conference here in downtown Miami, we're going to go to Wynwood to the opening of the Miami Bitcoin Center.
All right, thank you everyone. This is the Bitcoin Center Miami launch party. So everyone, let's huddle around real close. Let's make some noise. Woo!
What's the significance of bringing a Bitcoin Center here to Miami?
Well, you know, there are going to be Bitcoin centers all over the world.
And Erica is now going to tell us about Bitcoin Center Miami.
Raise your hand if you know what the Bitcoin Center New York is. Awesome, we know some Bitcoin Center New Yorkers. So essentially what they did was in 2013, they opened up a physical trading desk within 100 feet of the New York Stock Exchange.
On Wall Street's doorstep. That was quite a cheeky move.
Yeah, I felt like David with a little slingshot against the modern-day Goliath.
The Bitcoin Center New York is opening up its first sister location here in Miami.
And what are you guys actually opening here?
So pretty much it's going to be an incubator, educational space, and most of it is top secret, but you'll find out soon.
All right, woo!
It just kind of shows like how serious we are that Miami is going to be a hub of the United States.
And that's certainly the sentiment out here. Miami is going to be a hub for Bitcoin in the United States.
Yeah.
How significant is that?
Well, I think it's huge. I'm a little biased because I'm from Miami. I mean, we are EOS Miami.
Miami seems to have a pretty developed blockchain space. They have a really, really good development community.
Anybody who's spreading the message, who's like helping educate people in any sort of way, is positive in my eyes.
biggest conference of the year usually, and we're here in the bear market. And how do you describe the sentiment?
Well, a lot of people are worried, concerned, anxious, and we've been through the ups and downs before. We're fighting for Bitcoin. Well, the Bitcoin Center is a movement.
We know blockchain is the future, and now we have the core believers, along with folks who have joined us for the ride, who really believe in the principles. And those principles are decentralization. We believe in that, and people here really resonated with that message.
So clearly the bear market hasn't done anything to his spirit.
No, not at all.
What did you think of the sentiment at the North American Bitcoin conference this year?
Confused, but also interesting. We're here to build, and I think everyone's aware.
This year it's smaller, way more watered down, but a lot more substance.
We're the survivors, and we're going to rebuild. And the people who matter, the people who really care, they all showed up, right?
So that's it from Miami. Stay tuned to CNBC Crypto Trader all year for the most comprehensive in-person approach to examining all issues surrounding the crypto space. We'll be back in the Johannesburg studio next week. Until then, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.